And a warm welcome everyone. Welcome to another Q&A, which was initially supposed to be just one off, and now we seem to be, well, part 4 for those people who can count. Questions seem to keep coming in, this time by not so many people as before, but a lot of questions, so thank you for that. So we're going to do a 4th one. I tend to say it's the last one each time, so this time it's the last one. The questions may dry up and then we'll do something a bit more important. Okay, so where do the questions start then? Well, at the start, I suppose. Now, I got a couple of people's names wrong in this last one, maybe because of nerves, because I'm not used to talking in front of the camera. Yes, I called Kingston LJ, Kingston MJ. I think I had the Michael Jackson question at the end on my mind, and I called Jamie Williamson, Jamie Wilkinson, so poor show by me, but you both asked more questions, so this gives me a chance to redeem myself, so thank you for that. Right, first up, Kingston LJ. Now I've mixed these up a bit so they're not all from the same person each time, we've mixed them around. Kingston LJ, that's L and J, he asks, this is a good question to start us off with, who is your favourite character from Red Dwarf? That's a good one. They're all good characters. For those people that don't know, Red Dwarf was a show that started in the 80s, I think. And the rough storyline is, it's a sci-fi comedy by the BBC. But the story is, David Lister is a space bum. He got a job on the Jupiter Mining Corp space exploration vehicle called, well, Red Dwarf. There was about 1,000 or so crew members. They all got wiped out in some sort of nuclear drive plate disaster. And he got revived 6 million years later because he was in stasis at the time. Hope you're following this, but this is just old stuff for Red Dwarf fans. He got revived 6 million years later when the radiation had died down, and all he had for company was a hologram of someone he hated, which is his bunkmate Arnold, a creature that evolved from the ship's cat, which was called Cat, and later on it was Crichton, the mechanoid, and the ship's computer. It is a great show. I think they're currently filming Series 11 and 12 at the time, but all the characters are good from that. But if I had to pick my favourite character, it would have to be Arnold Judas Rimmer, BSc SSC, which stood for Bronze Swimming Certificate, Silver Swimming Certificate. The bloke was a total gremlin. That's an in-joke there. So Arnold Rimmer, the hologram. He's so Weasley, but he come good as Ace Rimmer. So, have I said that? Arnold Rimmer, he was the best from Red Dwarf, in my opinion, but they're all good. I like the cat, the way he dances. I like Lister's curry eating. Let's move on. Next question. Now, this is a bit outside my musical taste, really, so this is a tricky one to answer. But Kingston asked, if you had to listen to one of these bands, which would it be? Iron Maiden or Guns N' Roses? I don't know. I'm more of a soul and Motown and jazz man. It'd have to be Guns N' Roses, I think, because I'm more familiar with their music. Yeah, Guns N' Roses by Axl Foley. No, he's out of something else. Axl Rose. Yeah, one of those two. Hooray! Yes, that's not a very good answer, but I don't know these bands very well. Sweet Child of Mine, that was a good song. Okay, moving on. Jamie Williamson, that's not Wilkinson. Don't get confused with those two like I did once. It's Jamie Williamson. Thank you, sir. You ask, oh God, it's another music question. Elvis or the Beatles? Elvis or the Beatles? Well, I like both. I like both of these quite well, really. The Beatles music is absolutely fantastic, but out of the two, because it's too iconic, and I do like a one-man acts and one-woman acts, it's Elvis Presley. He's the man. For those who didn't know, you're a bit slow on the uptake, my favourite artist is Michael Jackson and his music. But there is a remix on YouTube, if you want to look it up, called Black Sister, and that's a mix between Michael Jackson and Elvis Presley. And it's done really well. I think part of it's black or white, and black. Yeah, that's it. And then there's an Elvis song tagged on there as well, and that blends really, really well. Black Sister, Elvis, and Michael Jackson. So check that out. But Elvis or Beatles? Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley, he was in Red Dwarf as well. In Waxworld. He sung the theme music. I'm not sure it's the real Elvis though. Comment below, who played Elvis in Red Dwarf in Waxworld or Meltdown or something? It was called one of those episodes. Okay, next question is a rather celebrity question. It's from a great fan of the channel. It's from Arnold Schwarzenegger. So, what do you want to ask, Arnold?
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Well, I don't think I can answer that question.
Fuck you, asshole.
Charming. Right, move on. You should never invite celebrities to ask questions on these videos. If you're planning to do one, don't ask celebrities. They get above themselves. You don't answer their question, and then, well, it's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, moving on to people that subscribe to the channel to ask questions. I mean, you can ask a question you haven't subscribed, but I'm more likely to include the question if you have subscribed. Yeah, it's from Interghost, and he asks, oh, now this is a tricky, thought-provoking question. It's a fighting question. He asks, Alien from the Aliens movies versus the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. Who would win? Now, it's possible that this question should be contained in a whole video on its own. And we have brain boxes of the day one side and brain boxes of the day the other side debating this at great length. But unfortunately it's just me here, it's not even Igor. So I'm going to have to give my opinion on who I would think would win. Now, the alien queen from Aliens, she was one hell of a mother. She laid eggs, she was huge, she had acid for blood like they all did. She had massive long arms. She had great strength. She could move quite quickly. But most of all, she had high intelligence, although she was scared of fire. But and now we versus the T-Rex here. He's a prehistoric animal. He's got really short itty-bitty arms, so if he was eating a biscuit or something and drops it, he would not be able to pick it up, and he wouldn't even be able to get the biscuit to his mouth anyway. So we've got this highly advanced fantasy creature who's the alien queen, and then we've got this real life character that went extinct called the T-Rex with short skinny arms that can't eat biscuits. So then weighing those two up, I think the T-Rex would get absolutely killed, wouldn't he? Acid for blood, bloom, can't fight with his itty bitty arms. You might do a juggling act or something to try and impress the alien as a decoy while one of his mates go around and bite her on the neck. But even if they did bite her on the neck, they'd be killed by the acid. So aliens versus T-Rex, the alien queen would win for sure. For sure. Acid blood, bigger arms. That's it. Always bet on that one. So alien queen. Back to Jamie Williamson with a maths question. Well, I hope you got your calculators ready. He asks, if 42, that's it, 4 and 2, is the question. No. If 42 is the answer, I'm glad I wrote this down. What is the question? Well, it's obvious, isn't it? It's obvious what the question is. It's 378 divided by 9, isn't it? Obvious. Or it might be, I haven't written this down at all to remember it. Or it might be the square root of 1764. So that's it then, that's that answered. Any other maths questions you want to fire at me, or anything about quantum mechanics, Jamie, or anyone else, I could probably answer that. So that's one pretty done. Incidentally, in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I think this is what Jamie was leaning towards really. 42 is the what the computer come up in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy after being left a million years to try and work out the meaning of life. It come up with 42. And then that wasn't good enough, that was an error, so it tried to invent a new supercomputer, which was the planet Earth, but it got blown up before it can come up with the answer to make way for an intergalactic highway. I think that's what you was going on about, Jamie, was it? If it wasn't, well, I got the wrong end of the stick. Next up, he asks a literary question, Vimes or Weatherwax? Okay, some people might not know the relevance of that question, but these are characters invented by Terry Pratchett in his fantasy Discworld novels. He wrote quite a lot of them, but I own all of them. Oh, excuse me. Now, Weatherwax, first appeared in this book, I think, Witches Abroad. It might have been Weird Sisters, but anyway, I've got this one to hand. Basically, she is rather upfront witch. She runs a coven. It's been a while since I read this book. I need to read it again. But she doesn't take any nonsense, really. She knows what's what. Witches, they take their magic from the earth, where wizards take their magic from the air. Sorry to get technical on you. Of Vimes, I think I first come across him in Guards, but I might be wrong. It might be in an earlier one. He's the leader of the city patrol of Ankh-Morpork, if I'm pronouncing that right. So he has to control a right odd band of guards to control law in the city. So out of the two, I go for, it's tricky, Rincewind. No, that wasn't one of the options, was it? He's a wizard. I'll go for a Granny Weatherwax. Was that the right answer? I don't know. There we go. So a lot of either-ors here. Oh God, another question from Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'm a friend of Sarah Connor. Where is she?
No.
Asshole.
Right, he's banned. He's banned from now on. Right, Interghost, please rescue this for me. Oh, this is a good one as well. If someone was to pay you the same wage as you're on now to make YouTube videos, would you take it, and how would you change the channel? Yeah, I'd take it. It's a no-brainer, really, isn't it? Really. I can't see that ever happening, to be honest with you. The channel is gaining subscribers very slowly. I'd have to change the channel dramatically, I think, sell out and just start shouting nonsense about and short videos and stuff. I don't want to do that. I don't want to keep some of the quality. So I don't think that's going to happen. But if someone offered me the money independently, like Hobnobs or some whiskey company to do this, or anyone, then I would say, yeah, I'll do it. And how would I change the channel? Well, these videos are made with not much time available, so I very rarely got time to reshoot it, so whatever I shoot goes up no matter what. Now, I do get once in a blue moon that the sound quality isn't too good on some videos, but I'm stuck with it. I haven't got time to redo it, otherwise I just have 1 or 2 videos a week, and there's always things I can improve. But I'm getting gradually better, so it's the time issue really. I probably have about an extra video up a week, but the quality will be a lot better. I'll get better lighting and better cameras and all that sort of stuff. And I'd probably paint a whole room green and use that as a recording studio. So that's what I would do. Answer would be a big yes to that, but it's unlikely. Unless I get 1 million subscribers overnight, which probably won't happen. Okay, and now Interghost asks, what Specky game, that's ZX Spectrum for the uninitiated, what Spectrum game would you like to see in next gen reimagining? Very, very tricky really. Because when you look at racing games, they've sort of like evolved. So you know, any Imagineer look a bit like the games of now. Games tend to evolve and go forward. So I'd have to pick a game that was from probably the most creative era, because it didn't cost that much money to create a game, so they could take more risks, and you're looking at the Spectrum era. I would probably go for my favourite game of all time, Attic Attack, although I still would probably grumble when it came out that it wasn't as good as the original. But Attic Attack is a game by Ultimate Play, the game from the early 80s, where you control any one of 3 characters, a wizard, a serf or a knight. It's a top-down game where you explore a castle and try and find 3 parts of the ACG key in order to escape. Now, if that was on next gen, the graphics would be good. Change the angle a bit, so you're up front a bit like a Doom sort of angle. Maybe have the a headset on in future ones, and I think that'd be pretty spooky with the music as well. There might be a game already like that, but Attic Attack on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, I would think would be absolutely awesome. But I don't think they'll ever make it. Damn. But make it happen. Attic Attack PS4. That game incidentally never had a sequel, so maybe people didn't like it as much as I did, but that's my favourite Ultimate game of all time, which I might have said in a previous Q&A video. Back to Kingston LJ, another 2 questions for him. How did you feel when you first got an Amiga? Well, I think that was, I was at secondary school when that happened. I think it might have been a Christmas present, so it was a complete act of euphoria. Up until that point, I had just played with a ZX Spectrum 48K, the old rubber keyboard. And I'd played loads and loads of games with that, and I was late on the Amiga scene. All my friends had Amigas, and consequently I'd go to around their houses most nights and play on that. So when I got one, I pretty much knew what to expect. It was the old Amiga 500, wasn't old at the time, where you put a modulator in the back, which seems a bit crazy, so it can nowadays, so it can connect to the TV. Okay, it was a huge thing, but people who like Amigas, they know what they're about. Always wanted a 1200, but never got round to getting one. So it was Amiga 500. It came packaged with a few games. Some were good, some were bad. To my knowledge, I've written these down. It was Nightbreed, which I never got on that one. I haven't reviewed that far. Shadow of the Beast 2. I think Days of Thunder was with it as well. That was a bit of a dog. And Deluxe Paint 2, which was an arts package, and that was really easy to use. Great fun. Lot more easier to use than Photoshop, but it wasn't that much advanced. But for the time it was great. You can muck about with fonts. In Deluxe Paint 3 later on you could even do animations. That was good. Very, very creative. Very creative. Also another either or question from Kingston. Who's the scariest? Bridget Nielsen or Grace Jones? What? Both these people are pretty scary. I think a few years ago Bridget Nielsen was on Big Brother. She's a tall blonde bombshell woman. I think she used to go out with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Don't say it too loud in case he comes back and asks a question. Grace Jones, she is just, let's just say creative. We'll put a picture up of her, boom. How can I say which with those two? I'd have to go for Grace Jones. She's a bit more unpredictable. There was I think it was Comic Relief or some charity event where she sung a song in a set and she'd hula hoop through the whole 3.5 minutes or 4 minutes. You might be able to find that on YouTube. Type in Grace Jones hula hoop. Mental. So Grace Jones, she's pretty much scarier. I wouldn't like to be stuck in a lift with her. I'd probably get my neck bitten off or something. Okay. Oh, it's a third question from Kingston LJ. Perhaps I haven't mixed these up too well. He asked, if you had to watch one of the Schwarzenegger movies... Hang on a minute. He's coming up a lot in this video. Hopefully I don't have to owe him money now. If you had to watch one of the Schwarzenegger movies, which one would it be? And then I got a mixture. I can't pick all of them. He's given me 3. Commando, The Running Man, or Total Recall. Now, I like all Arnold Schwarzenegger films. I actually own Total Recall. It was much better than the one that came out earlier. Well, later, which they rebooted. That weren't as good. That was good. Commando I've never been that fussed about really, but if I had to choose now, because I don't own it and I remember it as a good film, it'd be The Running Man. It's based on a book I believe where Arnold Schwarzenegger is some sort of like prisoner or something, and all prisoners are sentenced to this game show where they run around this town and gladiator type people try and kill them, and the audience watching the show bet on the outcome. But there's a big twist at the end. He says he'll be back when they send him down into this town of death. But he might be. Don't want to spoil it for you, but The Running Man would have to be out of those. Okay? Jamie Williamson asks, what's your favourite controller ever? Now, good question. I did do a short blog about controllers a few months ago. So hopefully what I say now matches what's in there, but it probably won't. First use of controllers was with the ZX Spectrum, of course, and it was like conventional joysticks. There was the Quick Shot, which looked a bit like a flight yoke, and then there was the Kingston joystick, which come round about the same time, which is a bit more manageable. When I got the Amiga, that was all based off the basic Kingston joystick. I think it was a ProTech, and the one I use now with a USB port connected to an emulator a lot of the time, or a computer. But my favourite one ever would have to be on the PlayStation, was the DualShock 2. This was the sort of like a adapter that went into the PlayStation, which I like still use. Needs a bit of a clean, this one. But the reason why this was my favourite, the PlayStation 3 used the DualShock 3, which is, instead of this adapter, it's a USB port. The reason I like this one is It was the first joystick or controller that gave me a bit of feedback into the game, like involved in the game. There's a couple of motors in there, which I first experienced playing Tokka 2. When I went over the rumble strips, it would actually rumble, and that seemed huge at that point. So a lot of nostalgia on that. So it's the DualShock 2 and the DualShock 3 as well. Now I have played the Xbox, that controller, and that just seems too big and awkward to me. I don't want to start a flame war or anything because it's better for some people. I've got quite small hands, so I prefer the PlayStation controller, the DualShock. So there we go, there we go. And we're coming to the end here. I don't know how long I've been waffling on for, but the last question is from Interghost. He asked, do you think retro games will peak in price someday and will start to fall again when us collectors start to die of old age? Well, I don't know about you, Interghost, but I don't plan to die of old age, to be honest with you. I'm going to live up to the age of 8,000,005. It might get a bit boring, maybe not 8,000,005, but it's a serious question, it's a serious question. All markets, the prices are determined by supply and demand, of course. If there's a high demand for something, then obviously the prices go up. If there's a low demand for something, then of course prices go down. Now with retro gaming, especially the hardware, they do tend to go wrong, and there's less people that can fix them, so they're going to get rarer and rarer as the prices go up there. So the sort of question is, are there more people wanting to buy the games and the hardware than there are available? So it's basically that balance. But yeah, to answer your question, when we're all dead, oh, this is a fun question, isn't it? When we're all dead and passed on, no one apart from museums will be bothered about those systems. People will be playing the PlayStation 52 and other stuff that we haven't even fathomed about. There probably won't be a screen anymore. They'll probably play the HoloVision 9, where you're actually running around with holograms around you and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, in answer to your question, they're expensive now because we want them. They'll be dirt cheap when we're dying out, and when we're not here at all, they'll be probably giving them away with a plate of chips. Okay, so that was the Q&A part 4. Hope you liked having a look at that one. I hope I've answered your questions well, for those people that answered questions. We probably won't do a Q&A 5, but this is Q&A 5, isn't it? I've lost track. But we probably won't do another Q&A, but you never know. Having said that, if more questions come in, we will. You can ask anything you want, really. Science, nature, anything on the Trivial Pursuits board. Even how much do you have to pay for landing on Mayfair with 3 houses in Monopoly? So until next time, thanks for watching as always. I love reading your comments on various videos, seeing what experiences that you've had and things that I missed. And until next time then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Asshole.